Ryomen Sukuna is a real character from Japanese mythology and folklore, a terror to the Japanese Imperials, but worshipped as a hero to the local provinces he resided in. He was known as the person who introduced Buddhism to these Japanese people. Sukuna has used a quote from Buddhist scriptures. His domain is a shrine who matches the shrine of the Jujutsu school. We also know that Sukuna was once a human sorcerer. Does this mean that it was Sukuna himself who founded the school of cursed sorcery of Jujutsu High? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Broku. Welcome back to another Jujutsu Kaisen video, another Jujutsu Kaisen theory video. And this theory is that Sukuna founded Jujutsu High. So thank you guys so much for all the support on my Jujutsu Kaisen videos. They have done very well, much better than I'd ever expected in the last one. Wow, you guys seem to like that one a lot, even though some of the Gojo stands didn't really appreciate it, but oh well. But anyways guys, thank you guys so much for all the support. We're going to increase the like goal because every single Jujutsu Kaisen video has absolutely destroyed the like goal of 1,000 likes. So we're going to bump it up to 1,500 likes for this. And guys, we're almost at 50,000 subscribers. We're going to be hitting that this week. So thank you guys so much for all the support. Please subscribe if you've not already, and also turn on notifications to be notified every time I upload a video. I am going to be doing more Jujutsu Kaisen video at least once a week, and might even bump it up to maybe more because I'm really liking it. I'm doing my read through right now, and it's definitely better on a second read through. But that being said guys, I'm going to get into this video and the theory of, did Sukuna found Jujutsu High, or at least he found the predecessor to Jujutsu High. Maybe they were all shrines dedicated to worshipping him. Now, as I have mentioned in a previous theory, Ryomen Sukuna is not originally from the manga Jujutsu Kaisen, but actually a mythological figure within Japan. He was symbolism for twins, and that might add an explanation for his connection to young Yuji Itadori. In these many myths and tales, Sukuna was a heroic figure to the people of these provinces as he fought off monsters and the terrible imperial government that was quite tyrannical. He also, in some stories, had introduced Buddhism to the Japanese, and there are even theories that there are actual shrines made after him, as they now worship him for his great deeds of the past. These shrines are dedicated to mysticisms and the supernatural and mastering it. This would be quite similar to the Jujutsu High, the school. Instead, using cursed energy to fight curses and learning the curse power. And crazy enough, the school is modeled after a Buddhist shrine. Secondly, Sukuna is even described with a popular Buddhist phrase by the narrator: "Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one." This is something that Gojo also states for himself, though the Jujutsu Kaisen mangaka Akutami has stated that Gojo was just using that in an arrogant type of way, maybe using it in a way of mockery for the wretched Sukuna. But if we know that Sukuna from the Japanese history books and Sukuna from the Jujutsu Kaisen manga and anime are both incredibly similar in many ways, like appearance and even some of the tales, then how likely is it that Akutami would borrow even more from these ancient myths? Even Sukuna's domain is called a malevolent shrine, matching the shrines of both the real-world Shinto and as an even further connection between Sukuna and the Jujutsu school and Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, it was simply stated as just a front, a facade that the shrine is just a look for the school, apparently hiding as a private religious school so that it can blend in and easily stay hidden, as cursed energy, cursed techniques, curses, and sorcery are not a thing known to most people in the real world of Jujutsu Kaisen, as Jujutsu Kaisen is a low fantasy series. If you don't know what low fantasy means, it is something like Harry Potter, where the series takes place in a world pretty similar to and normal to our own, but there are hidden societies, supernatural powers, and usually non-human entities that the vast majority of the population of the outside world are oblivious to. And this is seemingly similar to Jujutsu Kaisen, as most people can't even see curses, so they wouldn't even know what is going on when a curse is going crazy. I think it would be quite interesting if Sukuna was actually the founder of Jujutsu High, and this is a possibility because we know that over 1,000 years ago, Sukuna was actually just a human sorcerer, which makes it a possibility. If Sukuna was a very influential figure centuries ago, and not only influential, but we know for a fact that he was an incredibly powerful Jujutsu sorcerer. He was called the King of Curses, and he was not even able to be killed by an entire army of Jujutsu sorcerers. Instead, it seems they're able to only split the 20 fingers from his 4 arms in order to, in a way, take him out. Though, the portion of the story of Jujutsu Kaisen is quite shadowy and blurry, as we don't know near close enough of the full story of what happened. But I think it is possible to learn more this arc, when possibly Yuji will have to rely far more on Sukuna to fend off Yuta Okkotsu. Though, we might get many other clues from the past of Jujutsu Kaisen thanks to the brain inside Geto, who is Noritoshi Kamo, who has been alive for centuries and thus should have an incredible amount of knowledge on the past. And he seemingly knows Sukuna, and knows about the Heian period, as both in the myths and in Jujutsu Kaisen, it is a past era from over 1,000 years ago. It is called by Noritoshi that the Heian period was the golden age of curse techniques. Now, important to note that in our real world, the Heian period was known as a great time of peace. So I wonder if the Heian period and Jujutsu Kaisen will mirror that, and the golden age of curse techniques is because they were used for good. Or it will be the opposite of that. The Heian period from our world and it in the Jujutsu Kaisen world will actually be a terrible time filled with powerful curses that cause dread across humanity. In fact, it makes more sense that the Heian period was a terrible era within the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, because Geto said that the golden age of curses is beginning once more. He says this before releasing millions of curses within Japan. Makes me think to some of my old theories, where maybe at one point Sukuna was a good guy, like in the actual mythology and history. He was the hero in the golden age of these curses. The Jujutsu High, filled with the same shrines that are dedicated and designed like to worship Sukuna, like they are in the real world, was once the shrines that were dedicated to Sukuna due to his acts as a hero, possibly in the past of this story. As the king of curses, he possibly kept the citizens safe, his power too great for them, for the curses that wanted to take on these people. Like how possibly Sukuna in the myths introduced Buddhism to Japanese citizens as a way to reach enlightenment, he may have taught the Japanese citizens how to use curse energy and curse techniques to fight back against the evil curses terrorizing the land. Something important to add is that when Yuji first sees Sukuna and they're like in his own realm and he's like sitting on top of the shrine, which is the malevolent shrine, Sukuna is actually wearing monk garb, monk robes. Now, they don't exactly match one-to-one the common Buddhist monk robes you will see, but still similar. And actually, that doesn't mean that all Buddhist monks wear those exact robes. There are different types of robes that these guys wear. So the fact that Sukuna is wearing these robes in his normal or natural state while he's incarnated in Yuji, this kind of adds to the theory that maybe he is or was, well, more likely probably was a good guy, maybe brought Buddhism or the cursed power, and maybe it's like they're gonna combine the religion aspect and the cursed energy, like where Buddhism is actually like a power, and he taught them this to the Jujutsu sorcerers back then. So maybe he was a monk, or he was like the kind of like the Buddha figure, and I think the robes kind of add to this theory. I think it is possible that two different things might have happened here. Maybe at one point, the citizens who worship Sukuna in the shrines grew fearful of his growing power, and that too much power had now resided in one man, so they rebelled against Sukuna to kill him and stop that possible future where he grew too powerful and tyrannical. While they couldn't actually kill him, they were able to split his power into 20 different fingers and encase him within the wax. This would actually somewhat parallel Satoru Gojo and his arc, as Gojo was an incredibly powerful Jujutsu sorcerer, the current strongest and easily one of the strongest all time in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. He was even confident that he could take on and defeat a full power Sukuna. Though this might be debatable, as we know that Gojo has been arrogant and cocky in the past, even by the manga Akutami stating he is arrogant at times and cocky in an interview. But the Jujutsu headquarters has falsely morphed Gojo into a criminal on a whim, even though he is completely innocent. This is probably because Gojo is too powerful for him to reprimand in a normal instance, and they are only doing this because he was sealed away. But it is possible that Sukuna was at one point a good guy or anti-hero, and then the Jujutsu headquarters morphed him into a villain. Similar to how he is both a good guy and a bad guy in the real myths, and this led to him going against the Jujutsu sorcerers and eventually hating them, and possibly morphing him into a complete evil entity. If Jujutsu society can do this to Gojo, now a technological age, it would be even easier to frame people for crimes over 1,000 years ago. Or something that might have happened is that when Sukuna's own massive and growing curse power, it led to a path of darkness and malice. Maybe he took in too many curses, or had a confrontation with a curse he wasn't prepared for. Or maybe he's just natural. Power corrupts, and power corrupted him, and this turned him into an evil spirit. Now he would be forced to go against his worshippers, who he had trained the ways of cursed power to, and somehow, though they were not able to kill him, they weakened him through the separation of the 20 fingers. Now tell me what you think of this theory down below. It is even possible that Sukuna was not a great guy from the very beginning, and was only worshipped by the people, so that he would show mercy to the civilians, because if they worshipped him, then maybe he wouldn't kill them. I think it would be ironic and actually very interesting that this very school, the Jujutsu headquarters, and the Jujutsu sorcerers use, is that of the original shrine founded by their greatest enemy, the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna. But anyways guys, that's pretty much it for the theory. It is very quite interesting to me that the Sukuna has all these similarities from the myths to the Sukuna and the Jujutsu Kaisen, and in the myths, he founded different shrines. These people worshipped him. He introduced Buddhism as ways to reach enlightenment for these people. And it would be interesting if he actually was maybe at once in Gojo's position, or was the founder of the school where he taught people how to do this and fend off against the curses in the Heian period. But something happened. He became evil, or maybe he still isn't evil. Although, I did make that theory, guys, but remember, I said that he might be an anti-villain, and an anti-villain is still a villain. They maybe try to do something good, but they're doing really messed up things to do it. But honestly, I still think he is overall most likely evil. It's just a theory, and this is also just a theory as well. I'm not saying this is a fact, it's just a theory. But let me know your thoughts down below, because I think this is a pretty interesting one, especially when you just pair in the Buddhism symbolism when it's talked about Sukuna. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. That is a quote from Buddhism, from the Buddhism scripture. And then you have the malevolent shrine, which looks like the shrines in the Jujutsu High. So did he create the shrines, or did these shrines, were they created for him and they gave him power because maybe since they worshipped him, it gave him more power as a curse, and he can use malevolent shrine because of these shrines that were built for him and worshipped him. But let me know you guys' thoughts on this theory down below. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's shoot for 1,500 likes. We're not at 50K yet, but let's get there as soon as possible. My goal is also 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be absolutely amazing. It would be my huge goal on YouTube. Please, also, if you want some merch, I have a link down below. I'm working on making more designs, but it would really help if you did buy some, if you have extra money left over, because I'm trying to turn this YouTube channel into a full-time job, because it is not my full-time job. It is my side hustle and my hobby. I have a different job. But anyways, guys, please do all that. Follow my Twitter, join my Discord, link down below. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...